Okay, guys, so the verdict is in with the Diddy trial. And the RICO charge, racketeering conspiracy, found not guilty. The jury did not find enough evidence to prove he was running or participating in a criminal enterprise under the RICO statute. Now, of course, when it comes to the intimacy driving charges involving force, fraud, and coercion, also not guilty. He was found guilty on 2 counts of violating the Mann Act, which prohibits transporting individuals across state lines for purposes of prostitution. Bottom line, no RICO conviction. That was considered the most serious and wide-reaching charge, for those of you who don't know, and by him beating it significantly reduces the potential sentence he could face. But the Mann Act convictions still carry up to 10 years per count, so he could still serve significant prison time. Now let's look at the background sentencing guidelines, because some of you may be saying, oh my gosh, he's going to do 10 to 20 years. Some of you may be saying that's great. Some of you others may be saying, oh my gosh, that's scary. But let's really look at the federal situation here, because federal judges use the U.S. sentencing guidelines to determine a recommended prison term. These guidelines take into account the type and severity of the crime, the defendant's criminal history, whether the crimes were violent, coerced, or involved minors, which would enhance the sentence, whether the defendant accepted responsibility, cooperated, etc. In Diddy's case, he was convicted of 2 counts of violating the Mann Act, transporting individuals across state lines for illegal activity, prostitution. Each count carries a maximum sentence of 10 years, so technically he faces up to 20 years. But, and here's the but, under federal guidelines, which the judge typically follows, though not strictly or is required to, legal experts estimate the base offense level is relatively low. Because violence or coercion weren't proven, he has no prior convictions, which means minimal criminal history. If he accepts responsibility, his sentence range is estimated at 15 to 21 months. That's a recommendation, though, not a guarantee. Now, he's already done some time served. Combs has already been in custody for about 10 months since September 2024. And that counts towards the sentence. So if the judge sentenced him at the low end, 15 to 10 months, and that means that he would have 5 months remaining, he could potentially be released before the end of 2025, especially with good behavior. Okay? So the maximum sentence is 20 years. Realistic sentence is 15 to 21 months. Already served 10 months. Likely time left 5 to 11 months. So guys, there we go. You have it right there. Yes, he was found guilty, but on the lesser charges, the ones that do make sense, the ones that, okay, yeah, he participated in bringing those people across state lines, but, they don't even really call themselves prostitutes. They call themselves just entertainers. But at the same time, if he says, okay, yeah, I did partake in that, and he shows that he is a little guilty when it comes to there, and he takes responsibility for that, that could also show that he is remorseful, and the judge may say, hey, just give them the minimum. These girls got their money, these girls had their lifestyle, and at the end of the day, this man has a family. He's probably learned his lesson. He's already did an entire year almost, and yeah, he's not guilty of RICO. That's what I've been saying. And on top of that, I would say that RICO needs to be amended. If someone can be charged for this personal stuff and it could be called RICO, then other people in the United States are most likely pretty much at risk, because this, I considered it the whole time not RICO. Now, what we know from here on in when it comes to sentencing, the court filings and recent reputable reporting confirm that a specific sentencing date hasn't been yet scheduled. Legal experts suggest sentencing will likely occur within the next few months, once a pre-sentence report, a PSR, is completed and prosecutors, defense, and judge weigh in. Under U.S. sentencing guidelines, the projected term is expected to be 15 to 21 months, considering concurrent sentences and credit for time already served. He's already served approximately 10 months since his arrest, 2024. Now, from here on in, the pre-sentence report will be compiled by a probation officer. This report assesses offense details, criminal history, sentencing guidelines, and needs to be finalized before the judge can set a sentencing date. Now, there could be a bail hearing. Yes, even though he was found guilty, his legal team may request release on bond pending sentencing. Formal sentencing hearing is going to be coming up after the PSR completion. The judge will schedule the hearing likely in the late summer or early autumn of 2025. So there's no date set yet, but likely coming in the next few months. And the PSR needs to be finalized first. Sentencing probably 15 to 21 months total, with credit for time already served. A bail hearing may take place before sentencing. So guys, there we have it. The jury is on point. I would have to agree with the jury that Diddy was a participant in taking the people over state lines, even though they called those people entertainers and stuff of that nature. It was still part and parcel of doing that. And I'm glad that, the substances was not part of the charges, and the RICO obviously was not part of the charges. There were a lot of people out there saying, oh, RICO, he was doing this, he was conspiring, and they were making it a whole lot worse than what it was. And this is where we really have to sit back and say, guys, we can't be listening to the legendary media or to people that try to hype up negativity. When they're like, oh, they were putting, stuff in the baby oil. They had minors. All of this stuff just really seemed like it was blown out of proportion. Now, if that was true, then, they could have proved that there was substances in the baby oil just by testing it. And if there was something about the minors, then maybe that will come up in the future if they can ever prove it. For now, I don't know what to say. I'm just putting it out there. With the charges that he was on, it seemed like there has been a fair outcome. And I'm sure he's not going to get 10 years for the prostitution, because he wasn't prostituting anyone. He wasn't living off of the avails. He doesn't have a prior criminal record. He was involved with 2 counts of it with 2 ex-girlfriends for their personal use in their private bedrooms. So I do think that the judge will be logical about that and just say, look, Diddy was kind of kinky, and hopefully he will not do that again. He will learn his lesson, and he will get the minimal time and be let to go home with his family, with, probably soon having grandchildren himself. And we'll most likely hear a brand new album from Diddy in the future. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Sister Cerise. Guys, this was not about me supporting somebody who was a monster, because from the very beginning, I did not want to support Diddy. He wasn't somebody that I ever liked. But as the time went on, I was like, this is not Rico. These ladies were participants. They were all voluntary, and I was sticking up for the law and the logic. So let's all get along. Let's all move on. Please look out for my next video. Be sure to subscribe, hit that like button. Let me know that you enjoy being here. Huge hugs, loads of love, big blessings. Be good to yourself out there. And remember, tomorrow is not promised, so make the best of today.